It's been kind of a crazy week. And, it's just been seemingly getting better and better in many ways. And then in other ways, it's almost as if the world just couldn't get any worse. And I think that we have to recognize that we are living in the apocalypse, but not in the way that you think. The three-dimensional plane is the apocalypse. The three-dimensional plane will cease to be in one way or another at some point, because the only change that is constant is change itself. And I think that it takes great courage to change. And I've thought a lot about how I offend retards recently, and I don't necessarily mean that to be in a degrading sense. I just mean it as a phenomenon of reality, in which when you are becoming more spiritually attuned and spiritually attractive and you're leveling up in life, what seems to happen is that you start to offend people's belief systems to the degree in which they don't know how to handle it, because they've been gaslit to believe that critical thought is deception. And they've been taught to believe that if they do not believe in this thing or that thing, that their whole world will crumble. And you know what? It's kind of sick. It's kind of sickening to see the true endeavors of the wickedness of the world. Because although I want to have more connections with people, I'm slowly beginning to realize that many people they're simply not ready for a lot of this information, and a lot of them think that they are. And I'm trying to navigate what's the proper way to do this, because my whole channel has been brought up and founded upon my relationship to Christ. But now my relationship to Christ has changed very drastically. And I'm becoming more spiritually attractive, but not in the way that maybe people might think. Because we have to look at the words and what the facts within those words and what the facts of the meaning of those words plays out to be. Because words are like spelling, right? Like they are spell casting. Like when you speak words and utter words into existence, you are essentially spell casting. Especially if you are in a cult and don't realize that you're in a cult. Because a lot of these religions, a lot of these dogmatic belief systems and people, they are caught up in cult-like behavior, thinking that they're free. And as soon as you start to question it, they'll start to think that, oh, it's not good to doubt. That's the devil. It's like, no, I'm not doubting. And my view doesn't necessarily cancel out your view just yet. What I'm saying is that we have to have the capacity for critical thinking to take place so that we can recognize the truth of what's actually going on here. And do you want the truth or do you not? Like, do you really care what the truth is? Like, if you are someone that doesn't care what the truth is, you just want the truth? Or do you just not care what the truth is? That's the juxtaposition there. Do you really not care what the truth is? Or do you just want the truth? You do not care what that truth is. Those are really the options at this point. Because either you want the truth and you don't care what it is, or you do. Like, think about this, right? Think about what it means to really be in time with yourself oriented from a place of timelessness. that in of itself, nearly by definition, is enlightenment, because you are not moving from a place of being titled in your position. Because if you rely on your identity to define what you are and who you are, your identity is not what you are. Like, I am not my faith-based identity. I'm not my belief-based identity. And to think that is to have a great error. And to realize this is the truth, is to level up. And when you level up, you move beyond a place of spiritual warfare. Because that's what they want you stuck in. I'm convinced that they want you stuck in spiritual warfare. I was thinking about this just recently and within the past day, how this life is almost as if we are constantly Mario trying to save Peach. And the big bad Bowser, the dragon, the beast of the system, the mark of the beast, right? The big bad guy, he keeps taking Peach. But the problem is that Peach keeps allowing herself to be caught. It's literally the Adam and Eve story, just redefined. And so you can keep playing in that time loop, or you can exit from the time loop. You can get off of the collapsing timeline in which you have to restart the game, so to speak, or you can elevate to a frequency in which you are now in a place of heavenliness. You're not in heaven, you're not in hell, even though they're both they're states of mind. But you're in a place in your soul in which you see, you can call it the soul of existence, you can call it the soul, like whatever the Father is, as the Bible describes, that's the soul of the world, or the soul of the existence that is. That's the best way to think about it as far as I'm concerned. And this makes sense to me. And this ensures that I'm not moving from a place of belief systems. I'm simply operating on what I can perceive to be in existence. And I can verify this based off of my own empirical experiences or through verifiable facts externally. The thing is that a lot of people, what I've noticed about people who are in cults, kind of like Christianity, which I do think that it's a cult. I'm no longer convinced that it's not. And the reason being is because they abandon critical thought. And I'm not even saying that you need to not believe in Jesus Christ. I'm just saying that there's a different way to view it. And it's almost like people can't handle that different way to view it. And I really genuinely thought, remember when Thaddeus is like, it's like, I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right. But then again, destiny arrives all the same. Or should I say, I do, or I am, or whatever he does. And then think about what the Green Goblin says in Spider-Man, where he's like, in spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they'll hate you. Why bother? Dude, they had some real wisdom. I'm not saying that that's where you need to go, but I'm just saying that, holy crap, to really and understand the spiritual warfare that's happening behind those words will take you to a place of timelessness if you move with wisdom and love. It's not about being the hero. It's not about being the villain. There are heroes, there are villains. Yes, they do exist, but they don't have to exist. When you orient yourself from a place of timelessness and you level up and you become more spiritually attractive, what you're going to do and what's going to happen is that, especially with celibacy, I'm growing more and more convinced that celibacy, there's levels within the levels to celibacy and semen retention and all this stuff. sun gazing, all this stuff as well, meditation, prayer. You almost get to a point to where you know you don't even need it. And yet that's what keeps you grounded, is knowing that you don't need it, but then doing it because that's the discipline of the Spirit. It's the discipline. Like, you're supposed to die to your flesh every single day, right? At least according to the Bible. What does that actually mean? It means you have to allow your egocentrism to be like Judah and to commit suicide. I'm not saying that you should commit suicide. I'm not saying that you should not commit, like, you should not let things die. I'm saying the beauty of life, to really learn how to live life, is to live the truth and allow, like, people say all the time, live and let live. No. Live and let die. Live and let die, man. Because when you are looking into the sun, so to speak, right? You don't have to actually look into the sun. But what I'm saying is that, metaphorically speaking, when you're looking into the sun, when you're looking into the shining bright light of life, there is no shadow. There just is. There just is, or there isn't something. There just is. And with celibacy, and now that I think about it, I might, because the thing is that with celibacy, it's like you're retaining that light within you. You're retaining the understanding of what it's like to be enlightened and not entitled to that which is disruptive to your growth and evolution of spirit. The Bible also says to be constantly renewed by your own mind. And yet so many people don't want to be constantly renewed by their own mind. They want to use it as a platitude and not a function of being that they can embody. See, that's the thing. When you embody what happens with Bowser, right? Like when Bowser takes Peach and you embody Mario when you're playing the video game and you beat Bowser and you get Peach, what happens? Well, you complete the game. Well, then what? Well, what if I complete the game? What if I complete the game of life? Oh, well, then you just live. People, I mentioned this recently, how I'm just a guy. And somebody said something along the lines, I haven't really responded to comments much recently, but somebody said along the lines, because again, I don't even know if I want to read comments anymore much, but someone said along the lines that you're more than just a guy. Come on now. Like if you think otherwise, you're just ignorant. And I thought to myself, there's no way to completely verify any of what he just said. There's no way to think about all the opinions that people have and they treat them as facts. It's so funny to me. It's so funny because everything that I say is verifiable through experience or through external things in which you can actually look up and follow the line of thought. And of course, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make some mistakes sometimes. Grant me the dignity of being able to make a mistake every now and again. But what I'm saying is that I do not make claims that are not verifiable. And I can be confident in making assertions of life. But everything that I say, I aim to be verified by anybody. Anybody can verify what I'm saying through your own experience or through literature or through the psychological studies and whatever the case is, right? There's ways to verify what I'm saying. But if you just dismiss what I'm saying, it tells me that you haven't even looked to verify. If you just so easily dismiss anything that I'm saying, you haven't looked to verify anything that you're dismissing. You're caught up in a belief system thinking that it's the truth. And I'm growing more and more to the understanding that maybe the truth maybe the person who embodies truth, it's their job, just by being who they are, to embody truth. Maybe it's their job to offend people and their belief systems, rather. Not really people. I don't really want to offend people, but you have to risk offending people in order to get the truth. You have to risk offending their belief systems in order to get the truth. And ultimately, there is nothing that's truly valuable that will not, like, if something's actually valuable, it's not going to collapse on itself for no reason. There's going to be a reason. So, with all that being said, that's really the video that I wanted to make for you guys today. I'm going to probably do another few videos because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. I'm just thinking about a lot of things, and our overlords have been very upset about what I've been talking about recently. So I've had to delete a couple of videos, right? But I might just leave them up on other places. But otherwise, I hope that you all stay blessed. Peace. Until next time.